conference-free medications. My name is Chris Kramer. I'm very grateful, recovered alcoholic.
Are you very well?
And I am delighted to be here. Yes, I introduced myself as recovered. Recovered, not recovering. Recovered. Y'all come see me after I show you where to find that in the big book. It tells you to introduce yourself that way. So that's okay. How cool is this? Listen, like I said, all we've done since we got here is eat. So I was in Copenhagen, I guess, a few years back, and I've never been over here. Mine's had, but this is the coolest for me. And, I, like my brother, will try to talk as slow as I possibly can. I'm going to fail miserably at that, but I'm going to try. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to encourage you to do exactly what they just said. And Alan just said, you guys, the things we talk about sometimes, a lot of y'all can really relate to. Some of the things that you can. If you've got questions, then come up and let's visit about it. I am really a shy guy. Y'all see me socially. I'm inept. After we talk about the rain, I'm just like, what else? I don't know. I do pretty good from over here. I'm talking about recovery, but everybody laughs. Chris Raymer's shy. Just sit at dinner table with me and try to have a conversation sometime. God, this guy's retarded. There's nothing going on there. Just anxiety. I just get shy and I clam up. But I understand that. But if you if you've got a question, come visit with us. Here's what most of you do. You'll go out and smoke a butt and say, well, I just didn't agree with what you just said, and now you're pissed, and it's like, but I'm perfectly capable. Myers did a great introduction for both of us in that. I'm just as capable from misspeaking from this podium. We're not perfect. I don't want to. Sometimes the translation, what we say and what you hear are completely different. And of course our societies are different. So maybe you don't understand where we're coming from a bit. So if you say something that confuses you, by all means, please come up and let's chat. And that's the beauty of doing a weekend like this, is because we can slow down enough to get to know each other a little bit better. It's not just an hour talking and I'm out. It's just we get some time to visit. Having said that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. My story is a little bit different than Myers' is, just like y'all's stories are all a little bit different. I think I heard a speaker one time and said, sooner or later you'll hear your story in AA. And that's not been my experience. I don't know any ex-cook, one-eyed guys that used to eat out of dumpsters. I've yet to hear one guy. I'm not. And some of y'all are not smiling because this idea that it's our stories that hold us together is ludicrous. It's the solution that holds us together. And some of you are not in that solution yet, so maybe you don't understand what we're talking about, but it's the beauty and the power of this program that ties us together. And I don't care what country we come from. So stop trying to identify with just a story, because we're going to talk tomorrow in the morning. We probably shifted this around a little. In the morning, I'm going to talk first step stuff early on, because I think that's some of the stuff that confuses so many people. Everybody seems in the United States to be concerned about qualifying for membership in Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't spend much time qualifying you as an alcoholic, because I can't tell. Some of you, I can just look at you and tell you're an alcoholic. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. It's just like those guys in security line at the airport. They always have you pegged as a terrorist. It's okay. It's a patch thing. I don't know. I'd rather be accused as a terrorist than a pirate. If you want to come up with any cute pirate jokes, don't. You're not going to endear yourself to me. I get enough of that from kids in the airports to last a lifetime. God. Why do people do that? We talk about this all the time. You wouldn't go up to some crippled guy with a cane and make fun of him. No, but you go up with a guy with an eye patch and immediately it's open season for pirate jokes. In 1993, I started working for a treatment center. I got sober in 1987, finally. and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in this 45 minutes that I've got. But I ended up working in a big hospital, big 30-day treatment center in Central Texas. Beautiful place, it's still there. And I left after 17 years and went to work for my old sponsor's place, Mark Houston. A lot of you guys knew of him or might have met him in his travels. He passed away a couple of years ago, and I took over his spot at the place he started, and subsequently last month got fired. And I just need to do it from now from the podium to apologize to every guy I ever sponsored who got fired, who came to me looking for some encouragement. You know, how many times in this last month somebody comes, "Oh, Chris, it must have been God's will. You'll find God's in charge. You'll find something." And I'm like, "Hey, you're going to have to come up with something better than that crap. You know, you don't understand. I just got fired." Golly. And that's what I'm saying. It's different. I've never been fired in sobriety. And it's the difference between these two things. Knowledge, experience. You follow? So what we're going to talk about tonight and tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is our experience. And our experience may be a little different than your experience. And let's try to come at this with an open mind, okay? Again, what Myra says, we're not telling you how to do this. We're just sharing some experience with you. And if you could use some of this to improve your program, make sponsorship more doable for you, make your sobriety more powerful, then use what you want. We just love you to death. Before we get out of here, I'll put my new unemployed email address on the board so you guys can, so we can stay in touch. I tell you, one of the things that we see so much out there, we're going to talk about it, is a lot of you guys, you're going to go back to areas where they're not doing some of this stuff. And a lot of you guys, introduce yourself as a recovered, go back to your home group next week and introduce yourself as a recovered alcoholic. Recovered, ED, that means well. And watch the shit hit the fan. Zavala, you might as well have brought a gun into the meeting. Everybody's going to take this, you know what? And but you're doing what the book tells you to do. The book says, introduce yourself to the newcomer as a person who has recovered. If you haven't recovered, why the hell do I want to listen to your crap? Does that make sense? And Bill Wilson understood it. We need to be, instead of painting a picture that we're just all a bunch of sick bozos out there trying to help each other day by day, minute by minute, struggle to stay sober. Oh my God. No wonder our success rates suck. Who wants to be a part of that? Go to one of these good-looking 20-year-old kids and tell them that we have a fellowship where you can be sick the rest of your life. All you got to do is admit you're an alcoholic. Guys, come on. I have the genetic predisposition. I'm an alcoholic to the day I die. But I'm a recovered alcoholic. Now, the obsession to drink does not bother me. I mean, we're out there this morning walking the streets in beautiful city here, and drunks on there drinking at 9:30. I still miss drinking in the morning. I mean, somebody said one time, "What do you miss worse? Peeing in my pants and drinking in the morning." Those are the two things I miss the worst. And some of you've never tried that. Next time you have a relapse, just tea. There's something really liberating about that. In my pants, and I'll do with them what I want to do. But I'm a real McCoy, and I get excited about this. One of the things that there's a little line of thread through these. You can see our passion for this, our excitement. And I get so frustrated when I talk to people, not just in treatment centers, but in AA groups, and the celebrities in the United States. You know, on every talk show this week, there was another celebrity taking shots at AA. And out of every one of those mouths, they say, "I tried AA, comma, it didn't work." You with us? And then you slide it next to them and say, "What did you do in AA?" "Well, I went to a lot of meetings, and I just couldn't stand them." I said, "Me neither." "Okay, so move on. What else did you do?" "Nada." So you're telling me in a 3-part program, we're going to talk about that, with a 3-part solution, you were in 1 part, and you wonder why it didn't work for you. AA works great when you do it. But if you think you're doing AA, sitting in a meeting, and that's all you're doing, as gently as I can, I want to suggest that you might be more to it than that. My sponsor used to say, Mark, all the time, used to say, "I smell more." I smell more. In the foreword to the second edition of the Big Book, it was published in 1955 in our textbook. I'm not sure if they're in the Scandinavian version. I would imagine that they are. In the foreword of the second edition, it gives us a tally. It talks about a 75% success rate in Alcoholics Anonymous in 1955. And right now, in 2010, in Dallas, Texas, the success rate hovers around, 8%? Wow. How did we get there? And that's what I want to talk a little bit about. I'm going to tell you my story a little bit, and I'm watching the clock closer than y'all. And some of y'all will find this piece a little boring, but I think it paints a pretty clear picture of kind of what happened to our fellowship. And we're bebopping along. The Big Book got published in 1939 in the United States. I don't know when they finally did the Scandinavian version. But we've had it since 39. When the two guys got together, it was 4 years. They didn't have a textbook. And people were getting sober, people were not getting sober. And Myers talks about it a lot. Every problem, every mistake they could make, they made in those 4 years. Everything came across Bill Wilson's desk. And so what they ended up doing was coming up with this Big Book to try to help us all get on the same page. Because guys, this is one of the big fallacies that we teach in treatment. You go to their websites for, I could name 100 treatment centers, and I say, oh, we have an individual program. See, it's for your individual needs. Except, see, you're not, I'm not drinking because I'm blind in one eye. Got hit in the eye with a rock when I was a kid up in Texas. That's what we do in Texas. We throw rocks at each other. I'm not an alcoholic because I'm blind in one eye. You with us? There's a genetic predisposition. Alcoholism, and I want to go ahead and say it now and try to not mix it up. In drug addiction, real addiction is a genetic predisposed thing. Just for the record, just for grins, we're going to talk about some of this stuff in the morning. How many of you guys can see active alcoholism or drug addiction somewhere in your family? Up the family tree. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, somewhere like that? Yeah. Let the record show that all the other hands are up. Yeah, with the exception of a few of you. We're liars. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Because you got to go real deep in some of our family trees. You got to get pretty high in that family tree to find some of it. Some of you, we have this recessive gene, and it's like, you skip 6 generations, and all of a sudden you got another redhead. Oh, great Aunt Grace, well, she was a redhead. Well, that's where you got it. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? That's also where you got your alcoholism. And now I'm offended, but it's just that simple, and that's what we need to talk. Instead of looking at alcoholism as something causal, and there's a lot of people here that still believe that, and I'm going to try to shoot some holes in a little bit of that. I'm not saying that some of your drama didn't make your drinking worse. Gosh, some of us have been carried around a lot of baggage, and it's amazing what we survived. I'm not saying it didn't make matters worse, but it didn't cause it. You follow? Bill Wilson, 3 places in the Big Book, he talks about different kinds of drinkers. In one place in particular, on 20 and 21, it talks about the moderate drinker. Now remember that spot? It talks about the moderate drinker. But given sufficient reason, this guy may have a little problem with it, but he can give it up. We call them little partiers, little party cats. Then we have a hard drinker. A hard drinker. This may affect him physically and mentally. He says it may cause him to die before his time. He said, but if he comes up with a good reason, nice wife says, if you don't stop drinking, I'm going to leave your ass. And you quit. You'll follow? But he wasn't a real alcoholic if he could just quit. The next paragraph says, but what about the real alcoholic? And this grinds you, because I can hear it now. I'm an alcoholic if I say I'm an alcoholic. You're a member of Alcoholics Anonymous if you say you are. Well, sort of. If you're not a real alcoholic, I wish you'd go away. Because you're the problem, you're the thorn in my butt, okay? Because you're the cat that gets over just going to a meeting and talking to a few cats, and everything's going to be okay. And here's the grinder. But the real alcoholic that tries to do that is going to get in trouble. Let me tell you what happened. In 1971, there was a piece of legislation in the United States. This legislation took months, it took years to put together. Y'all remember Marty Mann? Some of y'all have studied the history of Alcoholics Anonymous. She was very instrumental in getting this piece of legislation. And there was a guy named Hughes, who was a senator, and he was also a recovered alcoholic. He called himself a recovered alcoholic. And he was the one that penned this piece of legislation with the help of a whole bunch of people. If any of y'all are interested in this literature, I can give you the book and you can read it. It's fascinating stuff. 1971, the last thing President Nixon did on his way out the door, literally, I mean, he hated this piece of legislation, but he signed it in and flipped the pen over his shoulder and walked out. It was one of the last things he did. What this law enacted was, it allowed the United States to look at alcoholism as the disease that it was. In 1955, the American Medical Association, I know there's circuit speakers out there that refuse to call it a disease, because the big book doesn't refer to it. It refers to it as a chronic illness. But the American Medical Association in 1955 said, absolutely, this is a disease, because it's the same. You with me? You got this good-looking woman right over here, young, pretty, different country, homely, Texas, one eye, completely different. You with us? But the illness is the same. Yeah. The symptoms are identical. They're not different because she's a woman. That's why I get crazy in Alcoholics Anonymous when we want to separate everybody. We got the young adults meeting over here. We got the gay people meeting over here. We got the black people meeting over here. We got the Vietnam vets meeting over here. All rubbish. What's the common thread? We're all suffering from the same disease. I'm not. If you want to go to those meetings, rock on. But it just further separates you from the truth. You're not an alcoholic because you're gay. You're not an alcoholic because you're a 19 good-looking woman. You're an alcoholic because you've got the genetic predisposition. Period. Stop trying to blame it on something else. She's just taking off her coat. She's not getting up to leave. That's okay. Now that's heresy for some reason. I understand. We can visit more about it. But here's the deal. This piece of legislation allowed the United States to open treatment centers. In other words, if we're going to admit that it's a disease, and we're going to allow the insurance companies to start paying for that. You with us? And this is a really good thing, because what happened was a lot of people that couldn't get treatment before now can get treatment. The problem is something got involved. You know what that symbol is? Is it the same in Denmark? Money. The insurance companies got on board, and even the crappiest little insurance policy, they stuck these riders on that would pay for insurance companies. We paid the treatment centers. And everybody smelled money, and everybody started opening these treatment centers. And that used to be, you'd have to look for a good facility. Now, every hospital in the United States kicked regular patients out, and they opened these detox wards, these treatment centers, because that's where they were going to make their money. By 1993, right before the end of this debacle, 40% of all hospital beds in the United States were treatment center or psychiatric beds. You follow? Buddies, there ain't that many drunks in the world. And where are we going to get them? What we have is a lot of people that got rich doing it. We're going to go out there and find drunks. You know what I'm saying? You just stand out in front of a liquor store, open a beer. Would you like to get sober? And we grab you. Get your insurance card. We take you to treatment. You got that little insurance card. We're going to take you to treatment, right? Get you 30 days, lay on your ass, go swimming, paint some rocks, talk about your inner child. And, oh my God, this is the best. Well, what happened was we cast this big net out, because we got to have a big net to fill all of those beds, thousands of beds, guys. Y'all understand that? We're going to cast this big old net out, and we're going to cast this whole room out, right? What's going to happen is we're going to catch some drunks and some addicts that really need some help, and that was a pretty cool thing. What happened was, it's just like those fishing shows when they get all those crap that they didn't intend to catch, they throw them overboard. We didn't throw ours overboard. We took them to we get them in the little druggy buggies, in the little vans, and we took them to an AA meeting, and looked around the room and said, God dang, these women are gorgeous. Good coffee. I get to talk about my crap all day long. Oh, I love AA. How cool is this? Guys, this is the truth. And they stay. And there's no more alcoholic than the man in the moon. I could have just shocked. He can't possibly say that from the podium. Guys, the hard drinker looks like one, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, gets a duck. Y'all understand? Given sufficient reason, though, some people can just finally quit on their own. Listen to a speaker not long ago. I shared the podium with his cat. And I talked to him, and then he talked right after me. He was just, and of course, he took my inventory. He said, well, I don't know what he's talking about working the steps and getting all excited about recovery. He says, I just made a commitment 40 years ago that I wasn't going to drink anymore. I put the plug in the jug. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and just quit. And every day I just get up in the morning and choose not to drink today. Wow. You can do that? Because that's the kind of mixed messages that we're talking about. Because I can't do that. I think I can do that. How many of you guys have got up in the morning, big old hangover, blood coming at your nose? Oh my God, I am never going to do that again. And by lunch you're thinking, I'm probably not ever going to do that again. And by 3 o'clock, I maybe overreacted a bit on this decision. I said, Chris, you want to go down to the bar and have a beer? I said, well, yeah, I just won, because I'm kind of slowing down. I want to slow this down a little bit. You see, that's the insanity. We'll talk about it in the morning. And that's what happens to us. And that's what I want to talk about. Guys, and if you think you're an alcoholic, and you are, and we're going to give the definition of what it is in the book, and get heaven. Most of you guys already have enough experience, not knowledge, I'm talking the experience, to prove that you are. But until you're convinced, you're not going to get all the way down in your chair. We say that a lot in Texas. Y'all understand that? I think I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not really sure. It's going to be a tough journey for you. And I want to help you get convinced. Because once you're convinced, you'll stay. You'll get active. You'll do what's necessary. If you have what the book calls a lurking notion, you're like me for 7 years in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous, not being able to put any sobriety together. I'm convinced when the pain's on me, and then the insanity comes back, and I start, y'all with us? We'll talk about some of that more in the morning. Myers and I were raised up in the hill country, and our father drank. He was one of those periodics. We got any periodic drunks in here? You could drink for long periods of time, and then he could stop on a dime. And then something would happen downstream, 6 months, 3 months, and he would start drinking again. And it was just really, especially heartbreaking, kind of an alcoholic. Some of us that drink every day, we just know what to expect. But the whole family would, the Al-Anon, we would just relax and say, oh, Pops is on the wagon again, everything's going to be okay. And then he would twist off again. Because he wasn't working a program, he was just going to a bunch of stupid meetings. And he would get sick again. You with us? Let me cut to the chase. Alcohol ain't my problem. Alcoholism is my problem. And unless that's treated, I'm not going to get better. If alcohol was the problem, then detox centers would send out 100% success rate. All we got to do is get you detox from the alcohol or the drugs, whatever, pat you on the little butt, go and sin no more, whatever they say. But I can stop. My experience shows that I can stop on a dime. For some of you Scandinavian women in here, I got to tell you, I could have stopped quicker if I'd known you. Quit, stop. I can't stay stopped. I got to say it. I said it from every podium I've ever shared. When I told that first wife that I was going to quit drinking, she was a nice lady, guys, and I was not lying to her. I got people in treatment all the time. Man, if an alcoholic's now it's moving, they're lying. That's not true. There were times I told you I was going to quit, and I had every intention of quitting. Because it got not fun pretty quick. I had a period of time when it was really fun. And then it was really fun, but it was a pain in the butt. And then it got nightmarish. And I don't want to drink. And I can't stop. That's real alcoholism. That's why I'll take a chance with anybody I talk to try to explain this to them. Instead of looking the other way. Because it's a crappy, crappy way to die. There's a friend of mine in Austin that I sponsored for a short period of time named James that died 2 days ago. He did the work for about 3 years and then stopped over resentment. And a stroke 3 months ago. He's been on a ventilator for 3 months. Crappy way to die. The follow? The real McCoy. I'm not going to tiptoe around anybody's sensitive little feelings. Nobody thinks that's going to ever happen. There's no way to scare you into recovery. That's why I've had it to the war story. I was a professional chef. I was a cook in Kerrville. We went to Houston and got an apprenticeship program. Myers went to Houston with me. He was a bartender. It was a match made in heaven. He ate T-bone steaks and I drank, Tim's Cup. I drank whatever I wanted. It was a pretty cool. And we're bebopping along pretty good. He ends up moving up to Dallas as a bookbinder. And I stayed. In the late 70s, I'm talking to doctors. One of the counselors that I was seeing said, Chris, you can't stay sober because you won't put some roots down. You're pushing 30. What you need to do is get married. And I thought that was a great idea. So I talked this old girl into marrying me, and bless her heart, she said yes. And because I remember thinking, I prayed about it. I said, I'm sitting outside this bar, and I said, God, if you'll let this girl marry me, I'll be okay. I'll quit drinking, and everything's going to be okay. And 2 weeks later, we're married. And I'm sitting in that little garage apartment watching her shove the Cheerios in her mouth, and I'm thinking, God, if you could just kill this woman, everything's going to be okay. But isn't that how we do it? God, if you'll let me get this house, everything will be okay. God, if you'll let us get pregnant, everything will be okay. God, if you'll let this, I keep thinking that everything on the outside, if that gets okay, then I can stop drinking on the inside. Yeah? That's why it's so difficult when people that don't understand what's in this book come in and they start talking about unmanageability. Some of you guys are sitting in here, you're millionaires, you've got all the money in the world. And I want to use that to separate us. You with us? I don't have any money, and you have lots of money. What are you drinking about? How many times have I done that? My drinking is not connected to my outside stuff. It's what's going on in here. Because what happens to us, a lot of you guys, the benefits, the rewards of our sobriety, a lot of times are the things that take us right back out. We get here, we start making more money, we get married, we start amassing some cool stuff, and we still get drunk. Make sense? Because it had nothing to do with that anyway. That's a piece to look at. I ended up in North Texas, and I'm still seeing doctors. I'm taking a bunch of medication to try to, stay even. Antidepressants, lots of antidepressants. I'm taking 7 pills a day, most of which I can't afford. And I'm not taking the pills as prescribed. A lot of those pills that you used to be able to take, you used to chop them up and snort them. Yeah, it's okay. 7 pills, and you're drinking alcohol on top of it. Y'all can just imagine what my life is like. I'm not a happy camper. And I'm seeing these docs, and we're doing all the therapy in the world, and we're trying to figure out why it is that we drink. We still do it today in treatment, guys. We still do it today. You come in early, and you're brand new in the treatment center, and we explain the disease concept to you. And all of a sudden, the sense of relief is, oh my God, I'm not a bad person. I have a chronic illness. I have alcoholism. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. You with us? And you go to your first process group, and the therapist looks at you and says, well, why do you drink? Because I'm alcoholic, because if they just told me back over here I got this disease. And they go, yeah, but why do you really drink? Y'all see where the disconnect is? The confusion? Because we're not all on the same page. These people went to school to understand the reasons that you drink. You drink because of the stress. You drink because of the abuse. You drink because of all of this other stuff. And we're going to talk about that, and then you don't have to drink. That's why we have less than a 25% success rate in treatment centers in the country. Most people that go to treatment don't stay sober. Not the real alcoholics. Make sense? Tragic. A lot of them. Again, the big net, guys. Hard drinkers do. The disco drunks, they do. We don't. We die. I'm up in North Texas, up in Denton, and we have a little domestic disturbance, and I promised my then wife that I would not drink again. And I meant it, tears in my eyes. And 2 weeks later, I have a couple of beers, and I'm driving home thinking, I've done okay. I didn't get drunk, and I just had a couple of beers. My deal with her was, as nice as she was not that I wouldn't get drunk. My deal with her was that I wouldn't touch another drop. And I got out of the car, this woman was something else. She was far from me, and my brother at the door, and she could smell it. She just looked at me, and she said, God. And she went to the bedroom and started packing. And that was it. And to try to save that marriage, I went to my first AA meeting. They're in Denton. And I got the newspaper out, and there it is in the schedule, and I went there and walked up this room, and big old, oh my gosh, it was a terrible meeting. And it was pitch dark, and y'all remember the movie Psycho? And this guy's in an easy chair, he's all laid back, and sits up and he says, "Do you have a desire not to drink?" I just finished a quart of beer in the truck. Yes. I said, "Yes, I have a desire." He said, "Welcome." But he didn't qualify me to find out if I was an alcoholic. He just asked me if I wanted to be a part of the fellowship. He did that piece, but that's not what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to find out if you need to be here or not. Are you a little drug addict? Do we need to get you in DAA, or do we need to, maybe you're just a fruit cake. Maybe you're just a little fried pie, and I can help you with that too. I can help you get to a professional that can help you. Make sense? Because we do drunks here. We're not a catch-all for every goofy person on earth. If you happen to be a drunk and a fried pie, we can still help you. Don't get me wrong. You're welcome. Anyway, he qualified me, and he freaked me out. I don't know. We went around the room, and we talked about some lady was having trouble with her husband, and we talked about her husband, and that's what we did. I spent 7 years in Alcoholics Anonymous, fast forward, in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, 7 years in AA. I can't stay sober. I've never picked up a 30-day shift. Never. I picked up lots of desire shifts. I come back again all drunk, slinging snot. I'm so sorry. A lot of tears, a lot of drama with it. But I can't stay sober 30 days. I can stay sober 2 weeks without even trying. Clean up better, I feel better, I look better. You with us? Everybody's patting you on the shoulder. You look great. I know I should have done this years ago. You follow? And the next day I wake up with this uncomfortable anxiety. This overbearing sense of self. My nerves are all growing out on the surface now. I can feel it. You didn't say good morning quite as nice as you said good morning yesterday. What's wrong? What have I done? What we're talking about, the unmanageability starts to come back. On page 52, we'll talk about it in the morning. It talks about this internal discomfort. Irritable, restless, discontent. Y'all get that? I haven't drank in 2 weeks. What am I getting irritable, restless, and discontent about? But I'm coming apart. By the end of the day, I stop at this little 7-Eleven, little grocery store, I'm going to get something to drink, and I stop and I think, maybe I'll just have one beer. That's when it always starts. No, I can't have a beer. I'm in AA. Look, I got a desire chip in my pocket right now. I'm not going to have a beer. Here's this little boy, "What are you, a pussy?" Just one beer. Didn't say let's get squashed, go rob a liquor store. And that's my problem with it, guys. I always end up drinking one, and I don't understand the phenomenon of craving that the doctor's opinion so clearly explained. And I'm off to the stupid races one more time. You with us? Because we're not talking about what it is to be an alcoholic in the meeting I'm going to. We're talking war stories or your problem. Make sense? This is my grinder. I don't have any problem in meetings telling some war story. I just don't know why we have to take the whole hour and that's all we do. Because you're not going to get anybody convinced you're an alcoholic by telling another story. Y'all follow? Your war stories should be done in a 12-step call. Once we get you to the meeting, I know all there is to know about drinking. I don't need to hear about your drunk while driving incident again. I need to hear how to finish a 4-step so I can have my spiritual experience and recover. I'm free to disagree. From 18 years working in the industry, listening to people give me reasons why they don't want to go back to AA, war stories are at the top of the list. And people whining about their problems is at the other part of the list. I'm going to say this and get it out of the way. Our primary purpose is important. And the singleness of purpose we talk about in the traditions means that we're going to go to AA and talk about what? We're going to talk about the solution. We're going to talk about our problems with alcohol. Alcoholism is what we're going to spend our time with in AA. Would y'all agree? Guys, y'all come to Texas with us, and we're going to go to a meeting. Some little crackhead, I know we got some of y'all in here, little dope fiends from hell. I can tell you snuck in, but here, you're sure welcome. And the little crackhead will start talking about, I was shooting cocaine, or I was smoking a rock or something. And it's okay with me, because I did the same thing. But understand, singleness of purpose, some old timer will stop you. Excuse me a minute, excuse me, honey. Excuse me, this is an AA meeting. We're here to talk about your problems with alcohol, and we'll stop you dead in your tracks. Because we don't talk about no stinking drugs in my meeting. You follow? Okay, who wants to share next? We got rid of that. Who wants to talk next? And the next lady that wants to share, she wants to talk about her grandkids and the problem she's having. You know, with me? The rest of you didn't understand it. What's the difference talking about your grandkids to the 19-year-old alcoholic sitting in the back than talking about crack cocaine? It's an outside issue. You follow? Like me talking about my weed eater. I can't get my weed eater started, and I'm so frustrated. And I said, what's this kid coming back here shaking? He's detoxing in my AA meeting. Well, we're not going to get to talk about recovery because we're too busy trying to teach me some acceptance about that weed eater. Oh my God. Y'all understand? Do I need to talk about that? Yes. Picnic table after the meeting. Let's go. Do I want to hear about your grandkids? Absolutely. Bring the pictures. Let's go to Denny's. Sit down, and I want to hear all about your problems. Not really, but come on anyway. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're wasting a lot of time talking about stuff outside the realm of what we're supposed to be talking about. We have so few literature-based meetings. We have lots of open discussions where we can go talk about that. In the belief that that's the stuff we drink over. That's bullshit. Make sense? Some of you don't understand. The 10th-step promise says we've been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We haven't even sworn off. That's where it tells us that we recovered those 10th-step promises. That means that no matter what happens out there, I'm going to be okay. We're best friends and you die. I'm going to grieve like the son of a gun. But I'm not going to get drunk over it because I'm recovered. Make sense? I don't need to talk about it. We've gotten so far off the page, and that all happened in these dates right here. 1935 to 1971, the time it took us to get 500,000 members worldwide in Alcoholics Anonymous. From 1971, when the Jews Act started, and the next subsequent 5 years, we got an additional 500,000 people. You see how fast we grew? And wheels came off. We put the book down, and we turned our fellowship into a self-help program where all we're going to do is talk about our day. And there's nothing wrong with that if you want to do a little of that. But if that's all you do, and you're a real alcoholic, you're going to die. You're going to relapse. Because you'll feel so uncomfortable you can't stand it. In 1987, I tried to commit suicide. And I'm working for my brother, thank God for family. And I'm miserable. I'm coming apart. And I'm whacked out because I'm hearing so many mixed messages. This guy over here says, don't worry about the book until you've been sober a few months. And this guy over here says, no, we got to get started now on this book. I'm getting really confused. You with us? And all the little one-liners that Life and I were laughing about last night, we're so confused. And somewhere along the line, we stopped this thing from being a spiritual program of action to a self-help program. Meeting makers make it, not my experience. You will make it and you gradually go insane. And you'll either kill yourself or go drink. I hope you go drink. Years in AA and I can't stay sober. And I've done 10 years of therapy and I'm on those 7 pills. And I've been to treatment. I've been dipped, dumped, neutered, spayed. I've sat naked in sweat lodges. I did colonics. I did anything to try to purify this body so I wouldn't drink. And I've done a vitamin regime and I can't stay sober, guys. And I got taken to a spot where I picked up a stack of return checks and I know I've bankrupted another checking account. And I'm 35 and I hate my life. And I went to the medicine cabinet, took a bottle of pills and tried to off myself. And I heard a voice that night. It was not a thought. It was a voice that said, don't do this, go back to AA. And I've talked to hundreds of people all over the world that have heard the same voice. This was not a thought, a hypothetical. Perhaps you should give AA that, don't do this, go back to AA. I made myself sick, it freaked me out. And just me and a couple of ferrets in that apartment. One sick little plant that was dying. And I made myself sick and I lay down on the side of the bed and I heard the voice one last time. And the next morning I got up and I made a commitment to go back to AA. I went to work at the binder where Myers works, and I went to a doctor at noon because I'm one of these detoxing fools, and he gave me some little doggy downers to help not go into seizures. And at 6 o'clock, I'm sitting outside this meeting I've never been to before. And I knew where it was because the guy showed me where it was. He said, this is a little big book thumper meeting. And I made a mental note not to go there. You're never going to get a date there. And, but I'm running late, and I'm talking myself out of going all together because I feel so lousy. And for some reason, I stopped. And I got out of the car, and I walked in the back door. And it was one of these long meeting calls, and everybody was smoking. That's back in the day. Can you know smoking meetings before here? Back in the day, you could smoke, and that's what happened. Everybody was in there and had 6 or 7 cigarettes sticking out of their mouth. You know? Nobody just smoked one, but everybody had to. And I walked in, and I was going like this, and I just, you should get I got a big gut hanging out, and that's all the water weight with me, and kidney damage and liver damage, and I got hair down to here, and big full beard, ugly like Myers. Always had food in it, I'm working blue collar stuff, wearing this old Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, old sweat stains. I'm a mess. I got this patch. That was a joke when I got sober. It says, Chris, we didn't know if you were wearing an eye patch or an earmuff. It's just impossible to be cool that way. I'm telling you. Nobody could pull that off. I walked into this meeting like this, like I said, I got really self-conscious, and somebody's laughing real loud over here, and it's a cool meeting. Everybody's laughing. That's a good sign. But I got real self-conscious, and I started to back out. This little girl that snuck up behind, she said she did not sneak up behind me. She did. She got into my blind side, and she hooked her finger in my belt loop, and she said, sit down, cowboy, you're not going anywhere. It turned out her sponsor was sitting back in the back of the room. It was narrow, and she couldn't get to me. And she pointed to the little girl, she said, get it. The story I got. This little girl, if she'd have been off in the young adult meeting talking about young adult things, I'd have been young dead. That's because I was out the door. This little girl hooked her finger. Now, she understood her primary purpose. It wasn't this girls work with girls and men work with men. There was a cat that was in that room that was suffering, that was fixing to leave. She knew the difference. She hooked me up, and I'll never forgive her. I've never not told from the podium. My life depended on that little girl. If it had been you who'd done it with all you can love, no, Chris, don't leave, I would just shove you aside and left. Y'all understand how God uses each of us in our own special way? You think you can't be helpful? Just put yourself out there and see what happens. I'll tell you what, God will use you to help the next person that walks in the door. They're not going to all be helpful to me, thank goodness. Oh my gosh. They sat down and they went around the table and they shared some stories with me. The chairperson took charge of the meeting. They had an old meeting schedule. And the chairperson saw me in there. Instead of doing the same old meeting schedule, he said, we got a newcomer coming back. He's not really a newcomer. He's coming. Let's share how our lives have changed as a result of working these steps. As a result of having the spiritual experience, how has your life changed? Let me translate that for you. That means if you haven't worked the steps and you haven't had a spiritual experience, shut up. Be quiet. You got nothing to share in that meeting. Y'all follow? Who's not there to listen to your head rattle? I love it. We go to meetings when everybody's talking about the 4-step. That's the first thing out of their mouth. Well, I've never actually done a 4-step. This is what I think. Shut up. You know what? We'll talk about that after the meeting. You need to share. You need to talk. But guys, we need to share experience. Y'all follow? It's like guys telling women what to do with their bodies. Guys telling you about childbirth. Excuse me, did you ever have a baby? No. Shut up! And the whole world's got an opinion about everything. If you've experienced it, share with me. That's how I feel so bad. All these guys are without jobs, and I'm telling them what to do. Now I'm in that same boat. Public amends. Oh my gosh. Just turn it over. Shut up. I'm going to push you around. Turn this over. Oh my gosh. Wow. This guy went around the room and everybody got a chance to share that they had the experience. And they talked about getting their credit cards back. And they talked about the cool stuff that they did. They talked about the beauty of being sober, the power that we get. Going back to school and doing the cool things. I'm less than a 24-hour away from a suicide attempt. I don't need to hear about you robbing a liquor store or driving drunk. I don't need to hear about you losing your kid. I don't need to hear. I know what all of that's about. I need to know, can you wake up sometime soon in the future and not want to drink? Can you actually, after 35 years of messing it up, can you come back and have a cool life? These people shared hope with me. The one thing I needed worse than anything. People all over the world email me. They call me up going, well, you think every meeting should be a pep rally? Yeah. Yeah. I do. We've got enough hurt out there, folks. Nobody's going to come in here based on scare. They're going to come here based on power, on beauty, on the love that's in this fellowship. That's what we should be sharing with a newcomer. And they just get one shot at it. At the end of the meeting, the old guy came up afterwards and got his glasses on. He was looking over him. He said, "Chris, I just got one question to ask." He said, "Are you done?" He didn't want to know if I was done today, because I've been doing that crap for 7 years. Are you done? You explain that we're going to teach you how to live life one day at a time. But this starts with a commitment. Do you want to do this? Do you want to not drink ever again? Do you want a new way of looking at this world? Free from the bondage of the obsession to drink? I said, yes, that's what I want. He said, we'll show you how to do it. The next day we did a 3rd-step prayer. He qualified me. We did a 1st step, just like we're going to do in the morning. And then we did a 3rd-step prayer and went to lunch and came back and gave me a notebook and he started to show me how to do a 4th-step. Within 2 weeks, I'm halfway through the steps. I'm already doing the disciplines of 10, 11, and they're letting me help around the club, a little 12-step stuff. It's pretty cool. And I sat on the tailgate of my truck 2 weeks after that suicide attempt, and it dawned on me that the obsession to drink is gone. It's Friday night. I got money in my pocket. I'm surrounded by booze, liquor store, tab, credit card. Well, I didn't have a credit card, honest. I mean, Hilton in the town I lived in had my credit card, but I had one that looked a lot like it. But I'm sitting on the tailgate of that truck with tears in my eyes because I realized that the obsession to use is lifted. I was recovered then as I was ever going to be. It's so hard to believe because you get so many mixed messages. I got to say this again. About 2 years ago, there was a lady on Oprah, nice lady. I'll say she's a nice lady because she may be in this room. And she's with one of our sister fellowships, and Oprah leans over. You know how Oprah does. Y'all get Oprah over here, right? Yeah. Okay. She's a sweetheart. She leaned over and she held this lady's hand and she said, "It must be such a struggle staying sober." Now, this girl she's talking to had 4 years of sobriety, and this girl looked at her. She said, with tears, tissue, "Yes, it's just torture. Every day is a day that some days I just have to struggle so hard not to use." Y'all understand that? And everybody goes, "Oh." But see, the people sitting in Texas watching Oprah on the television with a beer in their hand thinking, I could get sober just like she got sober. If she could do it, I could do it. And now this lady tells her that it's going to be a struggle the rest of her life. That's a lie. You do the work, you're not going to have to struggle like that. The obsession will go away. Why would we come do this, guys? Why would we get so excited about this if we didn't see it in our own lives and with the guys we work with, the men and women that we work with? You can get free of the obsession to use. That's the miracle. One of the guys in my sponsorship, Lenny, says it best, guys. A guy named Paul Martin. I'll send you some articles if you ever want. He was a great writer. He wrote for the Grapevine a lot. One of the things he said was, keep it simple doesn't mean keep it superficial. Did y'all get that? Because it's important. Keep it simple doesn't mean it's superficial. It means it's got to have some depth and weight. There's some things that we got to do in order to get well. And I got to tell you, it's a pretty cool thing to watch. And over the next few hours tomorrow, we're going to get a chance to kind of work through this. Again, from the idea of working somebody through the steps at a pretty quick clip. There's different speeds you can go at a pretty good clip. I'm anxious to get a chance to spend time with you. Thank you so much for letting me do this. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chris. Time for questions. This is the chance.
There'll be more chances tomorrow, too.
That's true.
Well, Chris, good to see you again. I must admit that I hated your guts when I first heard you speak in 2003. But I've grown out of it now. My question to you is, how do we, what protocol is there for confronting somebody who is screwing up the meeting? And you should bear in mind that love and tolerance, all others is a whole. in the same sex as a human with you. So, how can I tell somebody who's another child of God to shut up stupid and still be spiritual? Then on a lighter note, Mr. Myers he was kind of against having relationships in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I think if you're a real alcoholic, then being in a relationship will help you do that.
Real quick, that's not what he said. I want to make sure we get real clear, because I'm in the same. I dated in recovery. I agree with you 100%. You know, who am I to say that God can bring some cool relationships with me in early sobriety? It's hitting on a girl that's not ready to be in a spot to be hit on is not dating. It's called predator. That makes sense? And it goes both ways. We have some women in this program that are unbelievable, and some of us poor little guys need to get our feet on the ground too. And, but when you're ready and everybody's on the same page, then I think it's a good time to date. I love dating in recovery. I don't have a problem with that. I think we do ourselves another one of those one-liners that we tell people: you can't date for the first year you're sober. Like, buddy, who came up with that? Show me in the book where it says that. Make sense? You learn how to do things sober. Just like going to the grocery store. You learn how to do that sober eventually. The same with dating. The answer to your question is really good, the first part. We don't tell anybody to shut up stupid. Here's the problem. It's never an individual. If you're in a meeting sharing goofy stuff, it's because the meeting format allows you to do that. One of our big soapboxes is to adhere to the fourth tradition, which says that we can set these meetings up any way we want. You follow? So if you have a meeting, if you have a meeting that says that you can talk about your problems in the meeting, then people are going to talk about their problems in the meeting. And you've got no right to stop them. Make sense? In our meetings in Ingram, in our format, we don't do that little grapevine regular format. We have our own. We say, we're not here as a dumping ground for your problems. Please feel free to come before or after the meeting if you just need to talk. But during the hour, we're going to talk about the topic that the chairperson is going to bring, and it's going to come out of the first 164 pages of the book. Make sense? And then we've got a bell ringer there. And so we're going to, if you talk longer than 5 minutes, we're going to ring the bell. We're not going to be laughing with you. We're going to be laughing at you. Pay attention to we're talking, because we got everybody gets a chance to share. One of the things that drives people crazy in meetings is to get these long-winded knuckleheads in there that talk too long. And so it's like, why would I think that what I've got to share is any more important than what you've got to share? But I'm never going to get to hear you because I'm too busy. You follow? So you hear me look, talk, and we're going to look down at that. The problem is if I'm sponsoring you and I hear you say something goofy, I'm going to pull you outside and we're going to visit. I'm going to explain to you why you might be kind of showing your butt in there. I'm going to help you kind of understand what maybe we could do a little better to carry the message. Make sense? This is why we're all about this gathering this weekend, is to build a fellowship around us we crave. Some of you guys, we become lifelong friends because we're all on the same page. A lot of you guys keep going back to meetings where you're not on the same page, you're not ever going to be back on the same page, and you wonder why every time you go there, you get in a fight. We're not there to fight anybody. Make sense? We cease fighting anything or anyone. I'm not going to ever go into a meeting and tell them they're doing it wrong. Maybe what they're doing is perfect for them, but I get to go out and start my own little deal. Yeah, I'm going to build a little cast around me. That's why so many of us in this room have stayed together over the years, because we're on the same page. Got it? Good to see you again. Thanks for coming back. You make any other questions? I either scared them or they want to smoke real bad. That's